So my topic is it takes a village to raise a child and at the least a very great heart to help raise a child. So as ma'am rightly said, I've just recently joined as a director principal. I have a faculty of 45 young assistant professors, associate professors, and 6 professors. So this medical college is yet to undergo inspection and I'm awaiting that. And after that, most likely I'll be able to get 100 MBBS students. Currently, I am joined by one pediatrician only. So it is just an upcoming college. I have been a professor, as ma'am rightly said, and my special interest has been social pediatrics and adoption. So with that in mind, I'm presenting this talk. And pediatricians, as you all know, are advocates for children. So whether they are in the hospitals, seeing patients, or they're working in the community, or as a social pediatrician in schools, in creches, in construction sites, or even whenever we are going in the community, we do talk about the unimmunized children. But what I feel is that when we talk about children not being immunized, we straight away go and give them jabs. That's what the community may not accept. So if there is a community which has remained unimmunized, the first thing which we do with the community is I will basically get them toys, connect, and you can see how the children will start interacting. So straight away, sometimes we go and see that we need to get the desired effect of immunization, complete immunization. But what we need to do first is connect with the community. So they have never been introduced to school, but you can see how much they're keen to learn about it. So sometimes we tend to correct the community before connecting. So it's important to connect with the community first before we correct them or tell them that the children are malnourished, they need some change in their feeding habits, nutrition. So first is accept them. So pediatricians can go, the range is 0 to 18. In fact, pediatricians can be good even for adults, although they are typically going for less than 18. The IAP now says up to the age of 18, pediatricians can see. So whenever we try to understand the childhood psychosocial adversity, so we see them on two dimensions. One is the threat. So if there is on one side of the dimension is the low threat and the other side is the deprivation. So typically the children who are in the communities which are normally developing, there are typical developmental environments is the one where there is low deprivation and low threats. And when I talk about adoption, these are the children who are exposed to high threat and high deprivation. So that means they are exposed to complex exposures. So sometimes the children are exposed to high threat. They may not be deprived communities. These are the children who may be exposed to physical and sexual abuse. They may be exposed to domestic violence. For example, in Afghanistan, the children may be exposed to community violence. So these are the ways the children may be affected and have lots of psychosocial concerns. Poverty, sometimes people say that they are poor and they can be these children can be put into adoption. It's never so. You can have families which are deprived, but they can be loving and they may not be having any major threats. So it's poverty alone cannot be a reason for adoption. It is true that many children in India, they are highly deprived. And as a result, neglect is an important psychosocial adversity. The most important being institutionalization. It's in the institutionalization, the United Nations now say that the children should not be institutionalized. We have childcare homes. These are the children who are exposed to complex exposures and suffer because of major psychosocial adversities. So one story, because yesterday we celebrated Rakhi. So let me share a story of a girl who was found on a day of Rakhi, and because of that, she was named Rakhi in the home. So just sharing her story will amply explain what it means to raise a child and how important to say that it takes a village to raise a child. So this is a story of the girl Rakhi, who was adopted by a French mother. And the first contact, whenever we think of an adoption, which is an international adoption, there will be a representative coming. And they will always make sure that the head circumference is taken right in front of them. Many a times, this important measurement is missed. So why it is missed and why it is not given emphasis? Because many of the mothers or the women who have given birth to such children may have had exposure to alcohol. Even otherwise, we do have alcohol, and we are not aware that fetal alcohol syndrome, ever since I've started looking at it, I find the number of cases, they have these typical faces, which are difficult to make if you are not sensitive to it. The fetal alcohol syndrome is common in high-risk populations of the institutionalized children. Whenever we are preparing for adoption, this girl was around 7 years when she was prepared for adoption. And as a preparation for adoption, I made sure that she came to my home for 6 months, took permission from the Child Welfare Committee. And whenever these children who are prepared, the first thing they like to have is a proper food. Because what we need to understand is that food is a basic requirement. So another problems which are very usual institutions is clearing them of the pediculosis. So this girl was exposed, I'm making her exposed to certain French rhymes so that she understands, gradually starts understanding. And during that time, I made sure that she was cleared of pediculosis. And in fact, the worker said, no lice should reach France, and this girl should be cleared of that. So as she was about to go to a family, which was in a French village, I thought this was totally my imagination, that it could be like this. And the story about Beauty and the Beast, it is about a French village. And that's what I started showing her, that where she's likely to go, how she's going to be there, although I didn't know much about the mother. So this is how we see the first requirement of a child is a physiological need. That means food, water, warmth, rest. Thereafter comes the safety needs, security and safety. After that is a psychological need, and on the topmost is a self-fulfillment needs. So most of the children who are from the institutions would need a physiological and safety needs first before we go on to the psychological needs. So whenever she would come, her favorite spot would be my refrigerator. So she would make sure that everything possible, she would pack it and go. And when the mother came, she also made sure that she wore an Indian dress when she came to us to take the girl. So we met, and you can see my daughter and both, I got similar dresses for both of them, so that they could actually relate. And something which I thought was there in the Beauty and the Beast, the way the Beauty was dressed. So got similar dresses for both of them, and the way she could handle. The only thing which I told the mother was that although phone we do not approve, but for this girl, because she would see all the people in the home using phone, so I would allow her to use phone so that she starts listening to me. So because initially her attention span was very low, it's only through phone I was able to engage her. Another thing which would be what she would like was having lots of cold drink. So this, the mother was explained that she has an irresistible desire to have cold drinks, which gradually the mother was able to take care. So the day she had to leave, so I had invited all the children in my community which were there, and they prepared for her visit, her farewell at my home. And you can see this little girl drew the map of France and India and explained how she has drawn both in the same, and learned the concept of diversity. And everybody in my flats, in nearby home, knew that Rakhi is going. So you can see how they are singing French rhymes. So you could see, listen to my husband saying, initially you were just focusing on the construction site workers. Now it has become international. It's becoming difficult for him. So this is how we bid her farewell. And once she moved to France, so the mother updated me with her activities, which she was doing on regular basis with the girl, and whether it was physical activities, games, cycling, boating, Lego, clay modeling. So she was baking. So to complete the story, I convinced my family that we must go after 6 months and see how the girl is thriving there. So we went to this place is around 300 kilometers away from Paris, and we went to the village where she was staying. And you could see in 6 months, she had completely forgotten Hindi. She was speaking only in French. The only thing which she could memorize at that time and could speak in Hindi was Manodre. So this was the only thing she could remember. And you can see how the family made a difference. And the mother said she would find the food so bland that always there used to be a red chili powder, which she would use when she came, when she there. And she was fond of rajma chawal, and that's what I had taken for her when she had gone. So when you talk about it takes a village, I even made sure that I go to school where she was studying. You can see on the blackboard how I had explained in Hindi what is Rakhi, how do you say namaste. The children were very keen to know. All the children, in fact, this would never happen like in our schools. The principal said the children are allowed to question me for nearly 2 hours. So each of them, they tried to ask so many questions, whether there are dolphins in India, what do they put on the head, what is the importance of a bindi. Then they were asking about why the parents have left Rakhi. So this is totally different, where we do not want to talk about adoption. So there was total disclosure and explanation to the children. And Rakhi is telling how to. I'm showing these pictures because I have permission. Otherwise, sometimes when we don't have permission, we do not show the pictures of such children. And the girl is telling the classmates which song to sing. So these are the kids. So you can see this. She was very fond that in a Punjabi, there is a hair accessory which is known as parandi. And she asked me specifically because sometimes I would wear a parandi and she wanted a parandi for herself. So that's why you can see this, what she's wearing. So after 2 years, the family came to Chandigarh. We had, just before the COVID, we had a big conference, international conference on child adoption, where the family had come and talked to the community. We had nearly 300 delegates during this conference. And we know that it is really what I wanted to say, the very great heart to help raise a child, because many of these children have had traumatic memories. So as told, what are the different types of psychosocial adversities, giving you another example of a girl. This was recent during the COVID pandemic, a 10-year-old girl who had been raped, and because of the COVID, this was June 2020, and she was unable to sleep, going through pain. And they said because of the COVID, there were no counselors available. So the activist who messaged me said all such men should be castrated. So this is how this was the anguish of a activist. But then I had asked her to at least even during the COVID to visit, because the girl was not able, was having severe stress, and there was a post-traumatic stress disorder. Because of that, I talked to her. She said I cannot sleep, and throughout the night she would remain awake. So I did a 3 wishes test with the help of my psychologist. So the 3 wishes which she said, although this 10-year-old girl had never ever gone to school, but she said, मुझे पढ़ना है और बड़े होकर टीचर बनना है. मेरे साथ जो हुआ वो और किसी के साथ नहीं होना चाहिए. मैं मेरे मम्मी पापा को दुख नहीं देना चाहती. So there was hope, there was positivity, there was loving bond with the parents. The father was feeling guilty because the person who had done was an acquaintance and was probably a drinking partner of the father. So one simple intervention, which although she was malnourished, did give her some supplements. What I did mainly was provided her a regular supply of color pencils, color crayons, art paper, an opportunity to express negative emotions in a safe way. So I asked her to draw whatever comes to her mind and to show it during the next consultation. So I had just around 3-4 sessions, first session, 2 sessions, and 3 sessions. So what she drew, these were the drawings. Minded, this girl has never ever gone to school. And you can see the drawings which you do. And there were sheets and sheets of drawing. These are not just few of them I am sharing. And this actually forced me to even, although I am not a poet, usually my husband is a better writer and he writes more, but the girl, the way she drew, even made me compose one parody, which I'll just share. And you can see this drawing where this was an imaginative drawing which vicariously fulfilled the wish of killing the accused Shaitan by a dinosaur. So this dinosaur is spitting fire, and the child basically resolved her problem just by drawings. So even the digital divide, one old laptop with preloaded lessons I had made share so that she can read during this time. So this poem, which I wanted to share, is basically on what all she drew. So another, this was a child with high threat who was deprived but had a sexual abuse. So another story also of a child who was there, who was in a home, who was, when came to the home, was initially clingy, crying frequently, and used to call out 2 words, mummy and dadu. These are the 2 words because the first time the child came to the home was an abundant child, and I had heard them. But thereafter, The child just stopped speaking or talking to anyone and was perpetually sad, many times angry, used to avoid the company of adults, especially males. However, the child would follow simple instructions. Usually, once the physical needs of the children are taken care, the child adapts. But this child, even after 3 months, was extremely sad and became selectively mute and rarely played with other children. So you can see the angry expression on this child's face. So as the child was not speaking in different social settings, despite possessing the ability to speak, and more familiar settings, possibility of selective mutism secondary to toxic stress was considered. So I took her because I was looking after a creche. We provided a high quality early childhood intervention and just a video about how this child transitioned from selective mutism to a child who is bubbling, and where the whole village has helped her raise the child. So let me share the video of this child. So this child is exposed. This is in one of my creche where the child was kept with them, with happy children. She wouldn't speak anything, but started following instructions on different days. She was exposed to toys, to different games, blocks. But you can see the facial expression. So these are the parents who had come to take the child. Although I had clearly told that this child has a problem, whatever the toys I had given, the parents would feel the child remains nervous. She's not drinking. This is what they had written. खाना ठीक से खाती है, अच्छे से सोती है, तबीयत ठीक है, but as usual एक शब्द भी नहीं बोलती. This is exactly what I told them. हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं, लेकिन हंसती नहीं, रोती नहीं, कुछ मांगती नहीं, सिर्फ अपने पर्स से खिलौनों से कुछ करती रहती है, लेकिन हमेशा नर्वस ही रहती है. समझ में नहीं आ रहा कि क्या करें. So this is exactly what even we were trying to do and having problems. And after 7 days, you can see the girl. And this is what was shared by the parents. So this is after that they have to do a legal formalities. Before that, she has not ever, she knows that I'm helping her out, but she had never interacted with me so closely. And when she has come back after a few days for the legal formalities, and this is after 7-8 months, I have gone to Chhattisgarh to visit the adoptive family about the child. And then the mother has shared her current, this was in August, her performance in school, and she is performing. So this is how a children, that is why it is said institutionalization is not all children require a family, loving family. So you can see whatever I was explaining to you, exactly what the parents had written after taking. So many of these children who are institutions have several adverse childhood experiences. Any score which is more than 4 has important public health consequences. This is true for even in the populations. So adverse childhood experiences leading on to toxic stress. So this girl had suffered possibly a toxic stress, and because of that had selective mutilation. In a loving family, this is how the child grows. So again, amply justifying the fact that it takes a village to raise the child. And recently when ma'am said that I had taken over the responsibility of director, and before that, I was thinking that whether I could also take a child, because I would see in homes how the children would be deprived. And 2016 onwards, the India also had passed guidelines, the model guidelines for foster care. So I was not aware that I would take up the responsibility or the challenge of being a director. Before that, I had applied for fostership and all my papers were getting completed. So just before I joined as a director, I too had a challenge of taking a foster child who was 7 years old. So recently, I am a foster mom too, besides being a director. So I can understand the younger colleagues when they say that they have a parent-teacher meeting. Usually the directors are usually, they cannot understand. My sensitivity to the other staff members is greatly there. And I do not tell them if it is 9 o'clock, I don't insist them to come too early, because I need to spend the initial 20 minutes in the morning, a quality time with the child. And my husband, Dr. Saul Bharati, who will be talking about his experiences, and he will be talking about, and he's been doing 24/7, like residency of directorship. I'm doing that, and he's looking after the child. So traumatic memories. So he said, chocolate ka mahal bana sakte ho. This is what we created, a chocolate ka mahal. A traumatic memories replaced by happy memories. And when your life becomes challenging, what we can do is increasing your level of organization. So that's how I've been trying to pass all these 6-7 months. We live in a world of commodities, and a pro-social actions actually bring true happiness. So many of the things we need today can wait. A child cannot. To him, we cannot answer tomorrow. His name is today. Thank you.